All right, folks, this one comes to us from our Fundamentals of Compositing series. This is Volume 2, How to Do a Movie Poster. So if you like this one and you want more, check out 7thSeasonStudios.com for the complete course. And if you're interested in getting all of our content at one low monthly price, check out the link below for our YouTube family. All right, let's go ahead and get started. All right, folks, let's go ahead and let's talk a little bit about debris. Now, we're talking about layering. This person did a little bit of debris, so let's go ahead and put this in now. Now, I love the multi-layer thing here. I think that this is really cool. How you got the background, the foreground, you've got some of your smoke. I'm going to go ahead and move the smoke above the debris because I think that it adds a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and turn that down a little bit so that we can make this work. Now, the debris is kind of cool. Now, I grabbed the smoke layer, my bad. If we grab the debris layer, you see there's a little bit more of it than they originally thought there. They tried to hide a little bit of it. And one of the things that I didn't like about it is it was obscuring some of the flames. So what I would probably do is here, I would probably flip this around so I got a little bit of symmetry. You see how now I have the flame showing here and I've got a little bit of the debris there. And then if I drop the debris down, we're pretty good. Now, one thing you could do is you could use particle brushes. So in all fairness, we do have particle brushes on our site, 7th Season Supplies, where you can download particle brush sets. And that's one of the ways that they made probably this debris set. What I want you to do for the theory of compositing though, if you've got debris flying, it's going to go up into the sky. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come down to the debris layer. I'm going to pop this thing in as a new pixel layer. Just like that. And then I'm going to grab our debris, our particle brush set here. And I'm just going to add a couple. Now again, if you don't have these, you can buy them from other places. We, of course, sell them. This is not a plug. This is just saying you may need a couple more in your arsenal. And the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and make this small. I'm just going to pop a couple of these around. Okay. You see how that adds a little bit of unifying texture to this. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in with my eraser tool and I'm going to erase out anywhere where I don't want those particles to be. Because you're not going to want to see those on the figure. All right, and if they're a little bit strong for you, you can come up and you can drop them down a little bit. Okay, so that's just a nice way to unify the background and the foreground. Look at how powerful that is. Off, on, off, on. So I really like it. I think that it adds a lot. All right, let's talk color grading now. I'm kind of happy with how this is sorting out. And so when it comes to color grading, they put a big old bold type of layer on this. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff going on here. Overall, I'm just going to treat this as a layer. And the only thing I'm really going to do is I'm going to drop this down ever so slightly. And I'm going to change the blend mode of the entire thing. Okay. So I'm going to look for a blend mode that I like. Maybe I'll keep it normal. I don't know yet. I don't really plan this stuff out until I get here with you guys. Yeah, let's keep it normal. Let's just go ahead and drop it down a little bit. Now, what I want to do, I do want to include a levels adjustment on my central figure. So let's go ahead now that we've got the color grading kind of figured out here. And let's go ahead and add a levels. So I'm going to come over to my central figure. I'm going to come over to here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bang out. Let's do a curves, actually. Okay. Curves attached to the central figure. Now, I want to darken the darks a little bit. That looks good. I want to lighten the lights a little bit. That looks good. Okay. Remember, atmospheric perspective. The person in front of you has a little more contrast. The background has less. So I really want the foreground to remain the foreground. Now, the other thing that I want to do when I'm color grading is I want to match. So I come into my central figure. I create a pixel layer. Now, I'm going to do this with my mouse, but you should probably do this with a Wacom. And I'm going to grab a color. Now, this is kind of a warm type of look, but remember the warm look is created by the color grading. So I want to work outside the color grade for a minute. And now I'm going to use just my standard old brush. And the thing that I need you to take away from compositing now that we've got our layers figured out, we've got our foreground and background figured out, we've got the color grade figured out, you now have to make sort of certain that the two figures begin to mesh a little. So this is all about getting your figures to mesh. All right, we're going to bring in the light here. I'm going to go to about 15%. And the color that I'm going to use, I'm going to go with a little bit of light blue. Now, why light blue? Because until we apply the color grade, it's kind of a light blue. Now, I am going to switch over to my Wacom for this. So you may not be able to see this terribly well. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work on some of the lighter areas. I'm going to work on the arm area. I'm going to work on this side of the arm here. Okay, so I'm up in the arm here if you can't see it at home. Okay. Now I'm going to turn this down to about 5. Okay, this is going to be very subtle. Now, what I'm going to do here to check my work, I'm going to turn the color grading layer on while I'm doing this to see what I've got. Now, because the original artist of this, they did have a little bit of a color kind of coming up in there. I'm going to go ahead and respect that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to create another pixel layer. I'm going to go with a color. And let's try this color for right now. We're going to make this large, and I'm going to move this up to about 10%. They had a very bright color, so let's go ahead and try that. All right, so I kind of like that. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this thing down. That's a little bit too much. Okay. And then I'm just going to pop that color. All right, right inside that area there. Now, when we do that, that's going to obligate us in some way when we put the title in here to put a little bit of that color inside of it. So just be aware. Now, the thing that I kind of want to do, and there's not much you can do at this point, when you work with this image, you see how crazy her eyes are? I'm going to come down here. I'm going to make sure I'm on my central figure. I'm going to make sure I'm on the figure itself, and I'm going to burn those a little bit. I think that they're a little bit too bright for the piece. All right, let's see what we got here. I think that's probably as good as she gets right there. I think that she's just got those wide open eyes. I think that that's a bold statement. All right. So overall, what we've done, we've taken some debris. We've added the background to the foreground. We've kind of unified it. We've added in a little bit of light. We've set the stage for our top and bottom. Let's check out our titles, our badges, and see what we've got. All right. Overall, relatively happy with that. Now, the thing that I'm not happy with, notice all of this text now gets washed out. What I'm going to do first and foremost is I'm going to come in and right above the color grading, but below the badges, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put in a vignette. Okay, let's drop that down just like that. Drop the hardness down to just like that. Raise the scale and change the size. All right, and why? It's a movie poster, right? So you want to bring everything to your central image. All right, that's looking a lot better. Now there's a little thing I want to do here. There's something that's driving me nuts. All right, where's my color? Black. Where's my flow? That piece of smoke was driving me crazy. All right, what I will probably do now is one more little thing. Where is my... smudge tool? Let's bring that up. And on the gradient layer. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and call this here. What you really want to pay attention to from the fundamentals of compositing. If you have debris, you need it also in the atmosphere to unify. You want to make your color pop in your foreground, but also tied into the background. And you want your foreground character to be much more dynamic than your background. All right, let's go ahead and call it on this one. In the next one, we're going to take care of the text. We're going to make this thing work a little bit, and we're getting close to finishing. All right, we'll see you in the next one.